Hi there, fancy stampers, and welcome to another video demonstration. It's been a long time since I've made a new video. In fact, it's been a long time since I've made anything, to tell you the truth. I am a teacher by trade and am gearing up for a new school year in a brand new school and new position with 6th graders instead of 7th graders, and I'm so looking forward to it. So I've pretty much been eating, sleeping, breathing, every waking moment teacher focus. So I decided today I'm going to give myself a little break from that and do a little stamping. Also, it's a perfect day to be doing some stamping because even though it's summer, it is what I would say is blustery outside. The wind is howling, it is cloudy, and while you wouldn't normally use summer and blustery at the same time, if you've been born and raised in North Dakota, blustery becomes a huge part of your vocabulary. So that is what I'm calling today, a summer blustery day. So it's kind of made me come inside and feel like, oh, what can I do in here to kind of make this a fun day? And of course, stamping is the first thing I think of. So I'm going to put on my shoes before I do anything else because, you know, that's a big part of my stamping regiment, which might be strange to some, but to me, I find it absolutely fun and exhilarating. So here's my shoes. And I'm using a new video format today with my computer, and my image is like a mirror image. So if you see me kind of struggling with that, you'll understand why. These are sandals that are one of my favorites, and truly the video picture is not doing them justice. They are some of my favorites. So let me slip these on, and I'll be right back. All right, truly these shoes are some of the most comfortable. But I do have to start challenging my feet because with school starting very soon, I wear high heels basically all day long. I would say more than 9 out of 10 days in a stretch I wear high heels and probably some pretty uncomfortable shoes. So I need to start getting my feet kind of broken in for some of the pain and suffering they'll have to go through. But I love my shoes, would never give them up. All right, so for today's stamping, what I decided was I'm going to pull out some of my favorites and see what I can do and put those together. And some of these are some of my new favorites that I've gotten because I'm always accumulating new supplies that I absolutely must have. I swear. Seriously, I have to avoid looking at the Stampin' Up! Catalog because there are things that I can look through it hundreds of times, and every time I open it up I find something new that I must not have noticed before. So as I get my new supplies, I have a new favorite. Now today it is the Timeless Elegance, and here's this bizarre camera view that I have. I look at myself, and so it looks to you like I'm looking off to the side, but this is when I'm seeing myself, and it's mirror image. It's really kind of freaking me out. Ooh, there we go. This paper I adore. It's from the Timeless Elegance paper pack, and it has a bunch of different, like 5 or 6 different sheets in there that are double-sided, so there's a different pattern that you can use. But I love these black flowers on this ivory paper. So I want to use that for sure. Then I want a splash of color with it. So I have the Watermelon Wonder, which is a new in color with Stampin' Up! Love those two together. So that is exciting. Yes, exciting. My stamp room is seriously my favorite thing. And then the stamp set that I want to use is Flower Shop. Flower Power is the name of a flower store here, but Flower Shop. And I love this. I don't know if I can adjust this backwards camera view. Love these flowers because there's a matching punch that goes with it. And if you know me at all through my videos, you know that anything with a punch that matches or a die cut with my Big Shot that matches, I am all over that. So I want to use this, but as I've been bringing these supplies out to use together, I'm realizing that this flower shop set and this are really two very different looks. So we'll see. I'm not sure if it's going to jive together on the card or not. So all I'm going to do is you're going to watch me give it a shot, and if it doesn't work out, that's okay. We'll just maybe make two different things. So stay tuned and let's see what the heck I come up with. Okay, so I have all of my materials gathered here that I'm going to be using, and like I had said before, I had the Flower Shop stamp set, my snail adhesive, the new Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad that Stampin' Up! Is using. So I'll be using that, which is a super nice, crisp image that you get. And my Versamark, because I'm going to be doing some emboss. So let me get everything situated and we'll start. Okay, to start out with, these are the papers that I want to use. I'm going to get my cutter out here and ready. So what I want to do is get ready so that I can just kind of be creative. So I'm taking my 8.5 by 11 sheet and I'm going to cut it in half so I have 2 card bases to use with the vanilla cardstock. And then I'm going to take one of these, and let me see if I can bring in a little bit here. Oh, not too much. And I'm going to take this, and at 4 1/4 is the halfway point. I'm going to, whoops, not cut it, but I love this cutter because it has the, oh, for crying out loud, I'm totally drawing a blank. Makes my crease for me. Scoring blade, oh, for crying out loud. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this when I can't even think, but it makes that for me. So my idea, and I think I've done one like this before, I love this style of card where I have a card and put like a little binding on the side. So I want to use the Watermelon Wonder. So I'm going to cut that at 5 1/2 and keep one of those pieces because this is going to be like I can put it on my card like this and kind of fold it over. So I'm going to use that. I'm kind of thinking as I go along here. I want to take this 12 by 12 sheet of this paper. This Timeless Elegance comes in the 12 by 12 pieces. And I'm going to cut a strip off of this so that I have a 5 1/2 sheet because again, that's going to line up on my card and be the right length for that. I'm going to make a 3-inch piece. So that's going to be something I can fold in half to put around the outside of my card. And since I know I'm going to be folding that in half, I'll take a half of that 3-inch piece, which is at 1 1/2, and give my scoring line so I can fold that over perfectly. So this is what I'm picturing as I'm trying to put together this card, having that image, as I call it a binding, kind of reminds me of a book binding on the outside. But like I said, I want to incorporate this Watermelon Wonder. So what I'm going to do is, that piece was 3 inches, so I'm going to go to, well, maybe I'll go to 3 1/2 inches. And then I'm going to take that 3 1/2 inch piece and score that halfway, which would be 1 3/4. See how you need to use your math? As a teacher, as a kid saying, why do we need to know this? Well, that's why, in case you want to become a stamper. And that will allow me to fold that around the outside. And then, I like that. I like this bright color along with that black and then the vanilla. So that's what I'm kind of picturing for my outside edge on the card. So now I'm going to get my stamps and show you what I have going on in my mind about Stampin' Up! That card. Okay, I'm going to set aside my binding pieces there because I certainly don't want to get any ink on those. And I'm just going to create kind of a background on this card with this particular image, which is my favorite one. I love this flower stamp. Putting some kind of off the edge. I just really love this flower stamp. Oh, I think it's adorable. Okay, so now kind of putting those pieces together again. Okay, this is where I'm just having a disconnect here. When I take that off, actually, I really like this. Love that Watermelon Wonder with that stark difference with the ivory and the black. And you know, earlier I had said this paper comes two-sided, so there's a different image on the back. I don't know if my camera's going to pick this up especially. It's kind of just little dotted black design on here. And what I'm wondering is if I use that one. Oh, I kind of like that. So let me make another element for this card and then we'll make our final decision. Like I said, I'm kind of just going by the seat of my pants here and see what I come up with. But there were some things that I wanted to use, and one of the things I want to use is this flower stamp again. And I want to have a punch out of the flower because I have that flower punch, and of course I absolutely adore using these. But I didn't want to have another big color. I just want that real subtle difference with that one color of Watermelon Wonder. So the thought I had was black on black. And if I just stamped the black image on this black cardstock, it wouldn't be quite the image that I'm looking for. I'm just going to tear this piece off since I had already used this with that punch. And I'm using the Versamark pad, which I love. It's so sticky. It's like you're using glue almost. I just love it. And I'm going to stamp my image on that cardstock and then get out my embossing powder here. Love using it in these containers. It makes it so simple. And embossing the black on black, or any color like this, if you can do the same color on the colored cardstock, the image is just kind of a raised, shiny image, and I think it's going to look kind of cool on there. So I'm going to heat this up. I'll have to actually stop talking for a second. Ooh, that's hard to do. Okay, so I'm going to see if you can catch that image in the light. It's black and it's just a little bit shiny. So if I hold it just right, you can see that flower design in there. So I'm going to take my punch and I'm going to punch this out. Love being able to punch these things out. Okay, with my bifocal contacts, sometimes it's a little hard to see, but punching that image out, I just think this is going to be kind of cute here. So I want to put these pieces together again. Just kind of thinking and processing here. I really think for one of these, and you know what, this paper is just a little short. I'm going to have to recut this. I think I like this. So give me a second here. I'm going to go back. I am not happy with this orange, the Watermelon Wonder. It's a little short on the side here, so I'm going to recut that. I'll save this because I'll be able to use that somewhere else. Okay, I recut a piece and I'm happier with that. I think that I'm kind of liking it without this section on here. Now I said when I started this that I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but I do like these elements together, so I'm going to use this on another card, just not right this second. So I'm going to set that aside. So I want a sentiment on here, and I'm looking at this and I want to be able to stamp it on that Watermelon Wonder. And actually the stamp that I'm using came out of my August paper pumpkin. If you get your paper pumpkin, it sends it to you once a month, and you get a stamp set with it. So it's so amazing. The kits are $19.95 a month, but you get a stamp, basically a stamp set with each one, plus all the other paper supplies. So I love this With Love stamp, and I want that on here. And traditionally, I tend to always use my cards like this, but this is not going to fit, so I'm going to turn it this way. And I think if I'm going to make another one of these flowers. I think I need more than one, and then I think I'm going to emboss that on there too. So I got a couple things I need to do, and I'm not going to have you see the whole thing because it would just be a little tedious. But I'm going to stamp my With Love towards the bottom on here with Versamark. Love using Versamark. It's that sticky sound when you pull that off the paper. Makes me feel like I'm actually doing something. And use the black embossing powder again. I'm going to brush off a few of those sections there. So I'm going to heat this up, get that embossed, and then I'm going to make another one of those flowers, and I'll be right back and we'll put this thing together. Okay, so I have my elements here all together, and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to put them together. So I'm going to find my snail adhesive, and I'm going to first adhere this to the card. I think this is going to look so cute. Now, when I put these little bindings on my cards, and obviously I've done this before because I kind of like this style, I use a lot of snail adhesive with it because I have found in the past that sometimes the binding. I don't know if because of the movement of the card, but it sometimes will let go. Okay. Oh, that's even that alone. I love it. Seriously, cute. Okay. So I have that, and I made a few of these little flowers because I wasn't sure. Usually I think I have to use, let me pull you in a little bit here. I think I have to use like 3. For some reason, that's always the number. But I'm not so sure that I want 3 on there. I think that's just too much going on. So I'm going to start with 1, and I'm going to put Stampin' Dimensionals on it. These little raised glue dots, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And I'm going to start with one of those, but I just think that's too plain. I think I'm going to have to do a second one of those. So again, boy, my nails are in some serious need of attention here. Miss Fancy Stamps is not really living up to her name, I guess. I've got a lot to do before school starts. Okay. Trying to think of where I want to put that. How can I take so much time on these little small things? And then the big parts, you know, like what people would think maybe are the more important, I'm just slip-slopping those on. Oh, I think just like that. Oh, I like that. I am pretty darn happy with what came out of that. If you can see the flower, there you can kind of get a sense of that embossed powder on there. I think that's cute. So that really, when I take away my paper that was my true inspiration for the day, this is what I came up with. And you know, a lot of times that's what happens. So for another time, because I tend to get so long with my videos, I think I'll do a second one and use this paper. Might be the same kind of method, but I'm just going to have to find a different stamp set to go along with it. So tune in for that one. Please subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be sure you don't miss it, and you won't miss the next pair of shoes either. We'll see you later.